I never thought much of the coins at first. They were just curiosities, oddities that seemed to have no place in my everyday life in our small, unremarkable town. I've always lived a life of comfortable monotony, working a 9-to-5 job at a local insurance company. But those coins, they changed everything. It started innocuously enough. One evening, as I emptied my pockets before doing laundry, I found a coin. Not just any coin, though. It was unlike any currency I'd ever seen, ancient, with strange inscriptions that I couldn't decipher, and a haunting face etched onto its surface. I figured it was a prank by my friends or perhaps a forgotten souvenir from a trip. I laughed it off and placed it on my nightstand. The next day, another coin appeared. This time, in the pocket of my blazer as I reached for my phone. It was different from the first, but equally ancient and enigmatic. My initial amusement turned to confusion. Where were these coins coming from? Were they slipping into my pockets when I brushed against old furniture in the antique shop where I often browsed during my lunch breaks? I couldn't recall touching anything that resembled these coins, but what else could explain it? As days passed, the coins kept appearing in my coat pockets, my purse, even tucked inside a pair of shoes I hadn't worn in weeks. Their designs were all unique, depicting what seemed like scenes from a forgotten era, faces of rulers perhaps lost to history, and scripts that were indecipherable to me. Driven by a mix of curiosity and a growing unease, I started to seek answers. I visited local historians, coin collectors, and even posted pictures online in numismatic forums. No one could identify them. They didn't match any known currency, ancient or modern. This deepened the mystery, wrapping my daily life in a shroud of the unknown that was both thrilling and unsettling. The coins began to consume my thoughts. I found myself distracted at work, turning the latest coin over and over between my fingers, lost in its intricacies. My friends noticed a change in me, their playful banter and questions about the coins, slowly turning into concerned looks and hushed conversations I wasn't a part of. I didn't realize it then, but those coins were more than just pieces of metal. They were harbingers, whispering of secrets and shadows, of a past reaching out to the present. And I was caught in the middle, unwittingly pulled into a mystery that was older and deeper than I could have ever imagined. The coins became a daily occurrence, their presence in my life as regular as the sunrise. No matter how thoroughly I emptied my pockets each night, I would inevitably find another the next day. They were relentless, and with each new coin, my obsession grew. I spent hours online, scouring through historical databases and sending emails to experts across the globe. Yet, every lead turned cold. The coins, it seemed, belonged to no known civilization. It was as if they had materialized from thin air, their origins shrouded in impenetrable mystery. My quest for answers led me to every possible avenue. Antique shops, museums, even a seance with a local medium who claimed she could speak to the spirits of ancient peoples. Nothing. The coins remained a riddle, a puzzle that refused to be solved. As their number grew, I began to notice other changes. My dreams, once forgettable blurs, became vivid and disturbing. I dreamt of dark, deserted cities under starless skies, of faceless figures whispering in a language that felt both alien and familiar. The coins were there too, glowing ominously in the hands of shadowy figures. The most unnerving change, however, was in the world around me. Time seemed to fluctuate. Clocks would stop or spin wildly, only to return to normal as if nothing had happened. Shadows lingered longer than they should, and more than once, I heard whispers with no discernible source. One day, my search led me to a peculiar antique store on the outskirts of town. It was there I met him, a wizened old man, his eyes gleaming with a mix of knowledge and caution. He was a coin collector, but unlike any I had encountered. He listened to my story with an intensity that made my skin crawl, his gaze never leaving the coin I placed on the counter. "These are not meant for our world," he said, his voice a hoarse whisper. "You must stop seeking them out. Some truths are not meant to be uncovered." I pressed him for more, but he refused to speak further, a look of genuine fear in his eyes. I left the shop with more questions than answers, the collector's warning echoing in my mind. That night, I found another coin in my pocket. This time, however, it was accompanied by a note, written in a spidery script that sent a chill down my spine. "Return to where it began," it read. The meaning was cryptic, but I knew I had to follow this new lead, despite the unsettling warning from the collector. I was being pulled deeper into the abyss, the boundary between reality and the unreal blurring with each passing day. The coins were no longer just objects, they were summons, calling me to a destiny I could not yet comprehend. The world around me started to feel more alien with each passing day. Shadows seemed to stretch and reach out towards me, and I often caught glimpses of figures just at the edge of my vision, disappearing when I tried to look directly at them. The whispering grew more persistent, a cacophony of indistinct voices that seemed to be calling out to me. Driven by the note's enigmatic message, I returned to the antique shop to confront the old collector. This time, he seemed resigned, as if he had been expecting me. "You are entangled in something ancient," he said, his voice trembling. "The coins are markers, pieces of a forgotten ritual. But beware, for not all that is forgotten should be remembered." He refused to say more, but his words sent shivers down my spine. The ritual, the forgotten civilization from my dreams. Were they connected to these coins? My friends and family became increasingly worried about me. They didn't understand my obsession, and I couldn't explain it to them. Conversations became strained, invitations declined. I was drifting away from them, lost in a sea of ancient mysteries and unanswerable questions. The dreams intensified, each night more vivid than the last. I wandered through deserted cities, their architecture strange and impossibly ancient. I saw ceremonies, dark and foreboding, where masked figures danced around fires, the coins glinting in their hands. The dreams felt real, as if I was not just an observer, but a participant. The line between waking and dreaming began to blur. I started to see the figures from my dreams in the waking world, fleeting glimpses of robed shadows in crowded streets or watching me from afar. The coins seemed to throb with an unseen energy, their presence a constant reminder of the increasingly thin veil between my reality and the strange world they represented. Every discovery, every unexplained phenomenon, seemed to pull me further away from the world I knew. I was no longer just searching for the origin of the coins, I was searching for answers to questions I was afraid to ask. The unknown beckoned, its call both terrifying and irresistible. And so, I followed, descending deeper into the mystery, unaware of the price such knowledge might demand. The climax of this twisted journey unfolded on a night that was draped in a silence so deep, it felt like the world was holding its breath. Driven by the relentless pull of the coins and the haunting words of the old collector, I found myself standing before the dilapidated gates of an abandoned mansion on the outskirts of town. The mansion, shrouded in local legends and whispered rumors, was said to be the site of numerous unexplained occurrences. It was here, I realized, that the coins were guiding me. As I pushed open the creaking gates, a sense of foreboding washed over me. The mansion loomed in the moonlight, its once grand facade now marred by time and neglect. The air was thick with the scent of decay, and as I stepped forward, the ground seemed to pulse beneath my feet, in rhythm with the beating of my heart. The coins in my pocket grew warmer, almost hot to the touch, as if excited by their proximity to this cursed place. I entered the mansion, each step echoing through the vast, empty halls. Dust motes danced in the beams of my flashlight, creating fleeting, ghostly shapes in the darkness. In the heart of the mansion, I found a room that was untouched by decay. The walls were lined with shelves filled with ancient artifacts, and in the center stood a stone altar, its surface covered in the same strange inscriptions as the coins. As I approached the altar, the air grew colder, and the whispering voices crescendoed into a deafening roar. The coins in my pocket vibrated with an unseen force, and I felt an invisible weight pressing down on me, trying to crush the very breath from my lungs. It was then that the collector appeared, his figure emerging from the shadows like a specter. "You have come far, but the journey ends here," he said, his voice echoing in the cavernous room. "The coins are a curse, remnants of a ritual from a civilization that defied the gods. They sought immortality, but instead, they unleashed a curse that trapped their souls in these coins for eternity." The collector revealed himself to be the last guardian of this cursed place, bound to the mansion and the coins, a sentinel watching over a long-forgotten sin. He explained that the coins were seeking a new bearer for the curse, a soul to replace the ones they had consumed over the centuries. I realized then the magnitude of my folly. My obsession had blinded me to the danger I was courting, the peril I had unknowingly invited into my life. The visions, the time slips, the spectral figures, they were all manifestations of the curse, a curse that was now seeking to claim me. With the collector's guidance, I prepared to perform a counter-ritual, one that would sever the connection between the coins and the mortal realm, freeing the trapped souls, and preventing the curse from claiming another victim. The ritual was arduous, demanding every ounce of my will and courage. The mansion seemed to come alive around me, filled with the anguished screams of the lost souls, their forms swirling in the darkness, clawing at the edges of reality. The coins writhed in my hands, their inscriptions glowing with a malevolent light. But I persevered, driven by a desperate need to right my wrongs, to end the nightmare I had unwittingly unleashed. As the final words of the ritual left my lips, a blinding light filled the room, and a scream that seemed to come from the very bowels of the earth tore through the night. Then, silence. The light faded, and I found myself alone in the decaying room, the collector gone, his duty finally fulfilled. The coins, once the harbingers of my doom, were now just lifeless pieces of metal, their curse lifted. I staggered out of the mansion as the first rays of dawn painted the sky, the weight of the night's events heavy on my shoulders. I had faced the unknown, the unexplainable, and had emerged scarred but alive. The coins, the cursed relics of a forgotten past, were gone, but their memory would linger, a haunting reminder of the night I danced with shadows and defied fate. As the sun rose, casting its light over the town, I felt an overwhelming sense of weariness and relief. The mansion, which had been a nexus of supernatural forces just hours ago, now stood silent and benign under the morning sky. I walked away from it, feeling the solidity of the ground under my feet, a stark contrast to the surreal events of the night. Returning to my home felt like stepping into another world. The normalcy of my small house, with its familiar creaks and the comforting smell of coffee, seemed almost alien after what I had experienced. I spent the day in a daze, trying to process the events, to reconcile the two halves of my existence that had so drastically collided. In the following days, I took time to reconnect with my friends and family. Their concern and relief at my return were palpable, and in their company, I found the strength to start healing. I shared my story with a few close friends, who listened with a mix of skepticism and awe. To the rest, I simply said I had been on a journey, one that had changed me in ways I couldn't fully explain. The experience left me with a profound new understanding of the world and my place in it. I realized that reality was more complex and layered than I had ever imagined. The coins had opened my eyes to the existence of mysteries that lay just beyond the veil of the everyday world, mysteries that were terrifying yet undeniably fascinating. The old collector, the guardian of a dark secret, was gone, but his final act of guidance had saved me from a fate worse than death. I owed him my life, and in his memory, I vowed to respect the unknown, to tread carefully in the realms of the unexplained. As life returned to its normal rhythm, I found myself looking at the world with new eyes. The mundane and the miraculous seemed intertwined, each holding its own allure and danger. The coins had been a curse, but they had also been a gift, a glimpse into the depths of the unknown that I would carry with me forever. The story of the untraceable coins became a part of who I was, a chapter in my life that was closed but never forgotten. It was a reminder that some mysteries were best left unsolved, some secrets best left untold. And as I moved forward, I knew that the echoes of that unearthly night would forever haunt the corners of my mind, a whisper from a world beyond our understanding. The final coin lay on my desk, a lone relic of a journey that had taken me to the brink of madness and back. It was a tangible reminder of the curse that had once bounded, now rendered harmless by the ritual. Yet, its presence was a constant echo of the unknown that I had touched, a world that was now forever a part of me. In the weeks that followed, life found its old rhythm again. I returned to work, rekindled friendships, and even found joy in the small, everyday things that I had once taken for granted. But there was a change in me, subtle yet undeniable. I carried with me an awareness of the deeper mysteries of the world, a connection to the shadows that danced just beyond the reach of the light. I would sometimes catch myself staring at the coin, lost in thought. The strange inscriptions, now meaningless scribbles, seemed to whisper secrets that were no longer meant for me. I pondered over what to do with it. Keeping it felt like holding on to a remnant of a past best left behind, yet parting with it seemed like an erasure of a defining chapter of my life. One evening, as I sat gazing at the coin, a thought occurred to me. This coin, a symbol of my journey into the unknown, could serve as a warning to others. A warning of the dangers of delving too deep into mysteries best left untouched, of the thin veil that separates our world from the unfathomable depths of the unknown. I decided to donate the coin to the local museum, with a note explaining its origins as much as I dared. I hoped that, displayed there, it would pique the curiosity of those who saw it, yet also serve as a silent guardian against the lure of the unknown. The day I handed the coin over to the museum curator, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. It was a symbolic letting go, not just of the coin, but of the hold that the entire ordeal had on me. Life went on, and the story of the coins faded into the background, a surreal memory that seemed more like a dream as time passed. But the world had a different texture now, a depth that I had never appreciated before. I knew that out there, in the shadows and whispers, lay mysteries and wonders far beyond human understanding, and that knowledge filled me with a sense of awe and respect. The coin, now just a display in a museum, was no longer a part of my life, but the journey it had sparked continued within me. I was no longer the person who had first found those mysterious coins. I had been changed, forged anew by my brush with the unknown. As I moved forward, embracing the life I had returned to, I did so with a new perspective, a deeper appreciation for the mysteries of the world. For I knew now that the unknown was always there, just beneath the surface of our everyday lives, a reminder of the infinite mysteries that the universe held, waiting, perhaps, for the next curious soul to uncover.